Hello HWE 100 instructors. This is James and I wanted to make this quick video to help explain and demonstrate the new textbook product that we're using for HWE 100 this semester and provide you some different options on how you can use this in your class and how to pair and sync it with D2L if needed. So as I mentioned in the meeting last night, we're not moving to a new edition of the textbook, but instead we are providing the loose leaf version of the textbook that last semester we used for face-to-face courses, and we're bundling it with the access code, which is what we used for our online courses in the fall. So those will now be both included. When students purchase the textbook, they'll receive both of those, the loose leaf as well as the access code. This is going to help reduce a lot of confusion at the bookstore. Now they don't have to have one textbook for face-to-face classes and one textbook for online. Now it's all going to be the same. And so now all students will have the availability to access the digital textbook, which I didn't mention this last night, but I think that's a good option for students to have. So if they have a tablet that they bring to class, now they don't have to bring the physical textbook with them, or if they're doing any traveling during this semester or don't want to carry the textbook, but they do have a tablet or laptop that they bring with them, they now have access to the digital text. Another benefit of this move is that students no longer need to separately purchase Nutrition Calc Plus, and I know there's several of you who prefer to use that analysis software program over the MyPlate food tracker. So now we've negated the need and the cost for a separate access code. Now everyone has access to it within the bundle that we're offering. So all in all, I think this is a good move for us. So you want to log into your McGraw-Hill Connect program website rather, and then also be logged into D2L. I'm going to walk us through linking the D2L with the SmartBook for those of you that want to do or have that availability to have students instantly access the textbook and Nutrition Calc, which I think to me is the way to go. They have it in D2L instead of having to log into a separate website. But for those of you who maybe you want to have your students, you're not going to use LearnSmart, you're not going to use Nutrition Calc Plus, but you still want your students to have access to the digital text, there is a way that they can do that without having a link in D2L, but it's entirely up to you which route you want to go. So in McGraw-Hill Connect, you should have a master section that was dumped in there by Oliver. And then you should have a section that maybe you created yourself in a preceding semester that you use for the fall. And so under course options, what you'd want to do is add a section. So I'm going to add a section of this course, but I'm going to call it my Fall 16 OL for online. And I'm going to save that. Now, when you do that, the section is created, but it asks you to create a section, or you have a section web address that you can leave as is, but a lot of times it has some unnecessary characters in there, so you might want to edit that address and just take those out. It's up to you if you want to leave them in. I generally remove them and make it as brief as possible. You might want to put your section number on there. It's up to you what you want to use. Okay, and then you can save that. Hit OK. Yes, we're sure. Okay, so now my section web address has been updated. What I can do is download a PDF version. So I'll go ahead and do that. Pull that over here. Okay, so now you have created the section. And you also have this nice PDF handout that you can send to your students by email using your class roster, whether you do that in eWolf or D2L or both, or however you want to disseminate to your students. Now they will use this specific unique course web address along with their access code that came with the textbook to access the course that you just created. So I encourage everyone to at least do that at a bare minimum, and in doing so, that again gives your students access to the digital textbook for so they don't have to carry the textbook around with them to class, or if they're traveling, or whatever the case may be. It also gives them access to the Nutrition Calc program if you're using that in lieu of MyPlate Super Tracker. So I'll close that window, close that here. Okay, now what that doesn't do though is give them a direct link from within D2L. And again, it's up to you if you want to go this other route. I think it might be beneficial to have it within your course. It just means students have one less place to have to log in. So the way we do that, I'm going to flip this over to my Fall 16 section. And the first thing you would do would be to add a module. Hill Connect is going to be the name of that module. And I would probably, I'm not going to bother doing it here, but I would recommend moving it up to the top to close to your Getting Started modules, or even within the Getting Started module. You're going to add an existing activity, which is an external learning tool. So click on that. And you should have within your D2L course these preloaded external learning tools, and you're going to select the Westminster campus. Once that's created, you're going to click right on that new link. And it's going to ask you to find your textbook. And you can type in Contemporary Nutrition. Click on Find Now. And you're going to select this version that we use, the Functional Approach 4th edition. And then click on Connect. And you do want to use this for your students. And you want to adopt Connect. And we have a section in an existing Connect course, so we're going to click on that. And for me, the ones that I want to use are over here on the left side. I believe this one on the right is the master section, possibly. And you'll see that the sections that I've already created are coming up as potential options. Again, I'm going to use my Fall 16 course for this video purposes. So I'll select that and click Save. And voila, it's as easy as that. My course in D2L is now paired with Connect. So let me go back to the section homepage here. This will be the landing page for your students when they come into the course. And as you can see here, they have access to the Nutrition Calc Plus program. They also have access to the digital textbook. You don't have to have any Learn Smart activities. That's something that I'm going to experiment with this semester. But you don't have to have those available. You don't have to offer them, and you can tell your students that there's no assignments or activities in Connect, but it does give you the direct access to the digital textbook and Nutrition Calc Plus. Now, I always like to make sure that the link is working. So we'll back up a few steps here. And so here's our homepage for D2L for our course. I'm going to just click on this link. I get this page here. I'm going to click on Connect. It should pull me back into that section, which it did. Now, if I want to see what happens for my students once they get into this course, I'm going to change the view to a student. Go back to my content modules. Now, when I click on this link, D2L recognizes that I'm no longer the instructor. for the course, or at least I've changed my roles to student. I'm going to click on connect, and I should get a different landing page. Now I'm being asked to register my code, which came with the textbook. And obviously I can't go through those steps not having a code, but the student would enter the code, hit submit, and that would finalize their syncing process. So everything looks good on my end. Everything looks good to go. I can go back here to my original page, and I can manage my sections as I need to. I'm probably going to go in here and delete this section because I no longer need it after today. But yeah, that's as easy. To me, it was pretty easy to get this set up. And again, I would encourage you to set up the module and have it in your course. I just think it's easier for students to just go through one portal. Now they're in your course in D2L, whether it's a face-to-face course or an online course. Now they have quick, easy access to the digital textbook, Nutrition Calc Plus, and your Learn Smart activities if you have them. So hopefully I didn't cover that too quickly or wasn't too confusing, but if there's any parts of it that you need individual help or assistance or have questions, I'm more than happy to work with you on that. Just give me an email or phone call. Thank you, guys.